It was a quiet evening in North Myrtle Beach when a chilling discovery shattered the calm. A young woman, full of dreams and a bright future, was found lying outside of her still running car under an overpass. Her cell phone, just inches from her hand, kept ringing with unanswered calls, while her purse, untouched, filled with cash, sat undisturbed inside the vehicle. There were no immediate signs of robbery, no clear explanation for why she was there, and no witnesses to provide answers. Amber Berbiglia's death was not just tragic, it was inexplicable. Who had lured her to such an isolated spot? Why did her life end in such a violent and sudden way? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, did she know her killer? This is a story of a young life cut short under circumstances so baffling that even a decade later, the case remains unsolved. As we delve into Amber's final hours, the chilling crime scene, and the enduring theories surrounding her death, one thing is certain: this is a mystery you won't soon forget. But will we uncover the truth, or is this a puzzle that may never be solved? Let's find out together. Join me for another ride through the odd, strange, and mysterious here at Odd Mystery Stories. Amber Berbiglia was a vibrant young woman with dreams as bright as the coastal sunsets of South Carolina. At just 23 years old, she was charting a path toward a career in costume design, pouring her creativity into a future she was eager to embrace. But on May 3rd, 2013, her promising life came to a sudden and brutal end. Amber's body was discovered beneath an overpass in North Myrtle Beach, an area bustling with activity during the day, but eerily desolate at night. The shocking news sent ripples through the community, leaving everyone to grapple with one haunting question: who would do such a thing, and why? This is the story about more than just a crime. It's about a young woman who had everything to live for, and the mystery surrounding her untimely death. Amber's case remains unsolved to this day, and the search for answers has consumed her family, friends, and investigators alike. As we unravel the details of Amber Berbiglia's life and the circumstances surrounding her tragic death, ask yourself, could this mystery ever truly be solved, or are there secrets that will remain buried forever? Amber grew up surrounded by the natural beauty of South Carolina. She was a creative soul, known for her warm personality and a deep passion for the arts. Friends and family described her as someone who could light up a room, a young woman with a knack for turning the ordinary into something extraordinary. Amber had a peculiar love for costume design, a craft that allowed her creativity to shine. She had a vision of working in theater or film, where her designs could bring stories to life. Her dreams were not just distant aspirations, they were tangible goals she was actively pursuing. She had recently completed her studies at the Savannah College of Art and Design, which was a significant step toward making her ambitions a reality. Amber's creativity extended beyond her career aspirations. She enjoyed music, exploring nature, and spending time with her close-knit family and friends. Those who knew her best often spoke of her kindness and genuine care for others, a rare combination that made her unforgettable. Her connection to North Myrtle Beach was personal. It was a place she visited often, drawn to its lively atmosphere and the sense of freedom that it offered. For Amber, it was more than just a beach town. It was a backdrop for her budding dreams and the place where she felt most at home. Amber's story, however, took a tragic turn that no one could have anticipated. How does a young woman full of life and potential become the center of such a haunting mystery? As we dive deeper, the details of her final day reveal a series of events that raise more questions than answers. May 3rd, 2013 began like any ordinary day for Amber. It was a Friday, and the coastal town of North Myrtle Beach was slowly coming to life with the usual hustle and bustle. Amber planned to run some errands that day, nothing unusual, nothing out of the ordinary. She was just going through her routine. What we know about Amber's movements that day is limited, but crucial. Surveillance footage captured her shopping at several local businesses. Witnesses described her demeanor as calm and unremarkable. She wasn't visibly distressed or acting out of the ordinary. It was the kind of day that didn't hint at the dark events to come. At some point, Amber made her way to an area near the Robert Edge Parkway, a spot not far from the heart of North Myrtle Beach, but isolated enough to seem unsettling at night. Investigators later pieced together that this location was the last known place Amber was alive. What led her there remains one of the most enduring mysteries of her case. Did Amber meet someone she knew, or was her presence there purely coincidental? Could it have been a wrong turn, or was she lured there under false pretenses? The lack of answers has left a gaping hole in the timeline of that day. Later that evening, Amber's body was discovered beneath an overpass along the parkway. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community, and the details of what happened in those final hours have been hard to piece together. How does a day that began so unremarkably end in such tragedy? Amber's routine that day appeared normal, yet somewhere along the way something went terribly wrong. As we continue to explore this case, the questions will only multiply. Was Amber the victim of a targeted attack, or was she in the wrong place at the wrong time? And perhaps the most haunting of all, what, if anything, could have been done to prevent it? The discovery of Amber Berbiglia's body on May 3, 2013, under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass added layers of mystery to an already baffling case. It wasn't just where she was found that perplexed investigators, but the circumstances surrounding her death that raised more questions than answers. Amber was discovered lying outside of her car, which was still running when police arrived. The vehicle's engine hummed in the quiet, desolate area, an eerie testament to how recently the tragedy had occurred. Her cell phone was inches from her hand, still active with missed calls, texts, and emails coming through. A haunting sign of life's abrupt interruption. Despite the violent nature of her death, Amber's belongings were untouched. Her purse with cash inside remained undisturbed in the car, eliminating robbery as a motive. The scene's stark details painted a chilling picture. The location itself, a shadowy stretch under the overpass, was far removed from any bustling area, raising the question of why Amber was there in the first place. Did she stop willingly, or was she forced off the road? The presence of her running car and untouched valuables suggest a sudden, unexpected attack. For investigators, the condition of the scene provided both clues and confusion. Amber's injuries indicated blunt force trauma to the head, and defensive wounds revealed she had fought desperately against her attacker. But the lack of immediate signs pointing to a struggle near her car or additional evidence at the scene only deepened the mystery. Initially, the investigators thought she was shot. It was later they found she was beaten. Why was Amber found in such a vulnerable and isolated location? And how had events unfolded so quickly? The crime scene offered few answers, but the chilling image of her still running car and ringing phone has lingered in the mind of those working tirelessly to solve this case. As we move forward, the details of this investigation provide a glimpse into the challenges and frustrations faced in uncovering the truth about Amber Berbiglia's mysterious murder. From the moment Amber's body was discovered, investigators faced an uphill battle in unraveling the mystery of her death. The case demanded urgency, but it quickly became apparent that solving it would be anything but straightforward. Detectives began by retracing Amber's final known movements, analyzing surveillance footage from the businesses she visited earlier that day. While the footage confirmed her presence and timeline, it offered little insight into the events that led to the overpass. No suspicious individuals or vehicles were observed following her, and no one came forward to report anything unusual near the scene that day. Witness interviews were equally frustrating. Those who had seen Amber earlier that day described her as calm and composed, showing no signs of distress. Friends and family were adamant that she had no known enemies and wasn't involved in any activities that might put her in harm's way. Her life seemed as normal as anyone's until it wasn't. Authorities also explored the possibility of a random attack. The location of the crime, isolated yet accessible, seemed like it could attract opportunistic violence. However, no immediate evidence supported this theory. Local residents expressed growing concerns about safety, fueling speculation that a predator might be lurking in the area. Adding to the complexity of the case, forensic evidence gathered from the scene proved inconclusive. While investigators collected several items for analysis, including fibers and other trace evidence, none of it definitively linked to a suspect, nor could the investigators positively identify a weapon used to kill her. The absence of DNA or other identifiable markers only deepened the frustration for both law enforcement and Amber's loved ones. As time has passed, tips from the public began to dry up. Initial theories that Amber may have been lured to the overpass by someone she knew were difficult to prove without more evidence. Similarly, the idea of a chance encounter gone horribly wrong lacked any concrete foundation. Despite their best efforts, the investigators found themselves running out of leads. The lack of resolution wasn't just disheartening, it was agonizing for Amber's family and friends. They pleaded with the community for any information that could bring them closer to understanding what happened. Still, as time has passed, the case began to slip into the realm of unsolved mysteries. Why had Amber ended up at that specific location? Was the perpetrator someone hiding in plain sight, or had they already vanished without a trace? The investigation raised more questions than answers, leaving both the authorities and Amber's loved ones desperate for a breakthrough. As we delve into the theories surrounding the case, the uncertainty continues to weigh heavily on everyone searching for justice and on those haunted by the possibility that the truth may never fully emerge. Amber's tragic death has left a web of unanswered questions, spawning several theories about what might have happened under the overpass that fateful evening. While the investigation yielded no clear suspects, both law enforcement and the public have speculated extensively, trying to make sense of the mystery. One of the earliest theories revolved around the possibility that Amber's killer was someone she knew. A severe beating and blunt force trauma, the cause of death, is often seen as a personal act, suggesting a potential emotional connection between victim and perpetrator. Could Amber have trusted someone enough to meet them at the isolated spot where her body was found later? Despite this theory's plausibility, investigators found no evidence pointing to her current fiancé at the time, or a disgruntled ex-boyfriend, close acquaintance, or any recent conflict in Amber's personal life. Her family and friends consistently described her relationships as positive and harmonious, making it difficult to identify anyone who may have harbored ill intent towards her. Given the public nature of the crime scene, another prevailing theory was that Amber had been the victim of an opportunistic attack. The location under the overpass is accessible, somewhat secluded for the most part, making it a potential spot for criminal activity. Was Amber simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, crossing paths with a dangerous individual who saw an opportunity? While this idea seemed plausible, it raised another question. What led Amber to that specific location? If she was running errands earlier in the day, why would she have ended up in such an isolated area? Investigators have yet to find evidence to confirm whether she was targeted randomly or whether her presence there was premeditated. Some have speculated that Amber may have been lured to the overpass under false pretenses, perhaps by someone posing as a friend or someone needing help. This theory fits with the idea of a stranger attack, but it adds a layer of deception. Could someone have preyed on Amber's kind nature, using her trust against her? Without any known communications, such as phone calls or messages suggesting a planned meeting, this theory remains speculative. Investigators examined Amber's phone records and found no definitive evidence of any suspicious interactions leading up to her death. A less explored but intriguing theory suggests that someone may have witnessed the crime but has chosen to remain silent, either out of fear or because they were unknowingly connected to the killer. Given the location's proximity to a major road, it's possible someone drove by and saw something unusual, but didn't realize its significance at the time. This idea raises important questions. Could a small, overlooked detail from that day hold the key to solving the case? And what would it take for a potential witness to come forward after all of these years? These theories, while compelling, highlight the challenges of piecing together what happened to Amber. Each one feels plausible in its own right, yet none provides the definitive answers needed to bring her case to a close. As we approach the conclusion of this story, we'll explore which of these ideas might hold the most weight, and which seem less likely to provide the truth Amber and her family so desperately deserve. Amber's case remains an enduring mystery, with each theory offering a glimpse into what might have happened on that tragic day in May of 2013. While none have been proven definitively, some stand out as more plausible than others, while others raise more questions than answers. Among the theories, the possibility that Amber was lured to the overpass by someone posing as a friend or in need of help stands out as the most plausible. Amber was known for her kind and trusting nature, traits that could have made her a target for someone with malicious intent. This theory aligns with the isolated location of the crime scene, secluded yet accessible, making it an ideal place for an ambush. However, the absence of communication records linking Amber to a potential suspect leaves this theory incomplete. If someone had deceived her into going to the overpass, they did so without leaving a discernible trail. Could there have been a face-to-face encounter or an untraceable communication method? While this theory provides a reasonable explanation, it hinges on evidence that has yet to surface. The idea of a silent witness who could solve the case, while intriguing, is the least plausible. Although it's possible someone passed by the overpass and noticed something unusual, the likelihood that they could have definitively identified the killer years later is very slim. Even if a witness came forward now, the passing of time could obscure crucial details, limiting their ability to aid the investigation meaningfully. While the possibility of an overlooked detail cannot be completely dismissed, it seems improbable that a witness alone holds the key to solving Amber's case without additional supporting evidence. Amber's story is one of a life with immense potential cut tragically short. Her family continues to hold on to hope that one day the truth will emerge and the person responsible will be brought to justice. They've kept her memory alive through advocacy and by sharing her story, refusing to let her name fade into obscurity. For those who knew Amber, her absence is a daily reminder of the fragility of life and the unanswered questions that linger in her wake. As for the wider community, her case serves as a chilling reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist even in the most ordinary of days. As I close out this story, let's reflect on Amber Berbiglia. It's not as the victim of a senseless violent crime, but as a young woman full of dreams, creativity, and kindness. Her story deserves to be remembered, not for the darkness of its ending, but for the light she brought to those around her. While the search for answers continues, we can only hope that the truth, no matter how long it takes, will one day be found. Hey, wasn't that a sad story about Amber? I sure hope her family gets answers one day. My name is Vince. If you can support the channel in any way, I sure would appreciate it. If you found this video interesting, you might also find the mysterious disappearance of Kenneth Plasted as also an interesting story. You can see that story in the top right hand corner of your screen. Click on that box to watch that now. Thank you.